Good morning, my name is Father Rayappa. I am in Ekatupudi village near Vellore, South India. Today I am going to talk about Centesimus Annus, which translates into 100th year commemorating Rerum Novarum, an encyclical written by Pope Leo the 13th in 1891. So Pope is writing Centesimus Annus in 1991, 100 years of Rerum Novarum, and he is writing in the paragraph number 8, it is under the subtitle, Pope is writing the characteristics of Rerum Novarum. That's a subtitle in the document, Caritas in Veritate, characteristics of Rerum Novarum. So what Rerum Novarum meant today, in today's context, Pope Saint John Paul II is contextualizing. Okay, so in paragraph number 8, Pope is introducing just wage. Actually, just wage was introduced by Pope Leo the 13th in 1891 in Rerum Novarum. So just Pope John Paul II is explaining this beautiful concept. There should be just wage. Getting work is very important, and also another important element is, and you need to be paid just wage. There are many exploitation going around, like in a capitalistic countries, so-called unbridled capitalism. And today, most of the products are manufactured in the third world countries like India, Bangladesh, Ceylon, Vietnam, Cambodia, South America, Cuba, and multinational corporations. They have their factories in the third world countries, and they are exploiting. And cheap labor. They use children, they use women, and they don't pay just wage. So the capitalism, the main thrust of capitalism is, and you exploit the worker. You exploit also the consumers. You exploit everything, the production, the consumption, markets. Capitalism, nothing but exploiting even the worker. So that is what Pope is warning. I mean, can you imagine, almost 125 years before Pope Leo the 13th, he sensed the injustice done to the worker. So he wrote it, just wage is very, very important. So today, Pope is appealing to the state government and national government to ensure and to formulate laws and regulations to defend the worker and the just wage. And I think it is very, very appropriate in today's context. Rerum Novarum's message and Centesimus Annus message is very, very appropriate in today's globalization. And today's globalization has gone extreme. Maybe during the Centesimus Annus days, like Industrial Revolution, during Industrial Revolution, maybe worker was plundered, was exploited. Even Pope John Paul II time, some 25 years back also, the human worker was plundered and exploited. But now it goes to the extreme exploitation, extreme plundering going on with the workers in the third world. And they produce, for example, clothes. They pay $1 for the worker, but they sell for $15, $20 in the international market. So that is a big disparity, and it is a real global exploitation. So I'm going to read it for you. It's very interesting to hear from the Pope himself. So, Centesimus Annus, paragraph number 8, Saint Pope John Paul II writes as follows. The Pope immediately adds another right which the worker has as a person, This is the right to a just wage, which cannot be left to the free consent of the parties, so that the employer, having paid what was agreed upon, has done his part and seemingly is not called upon to do anything beyond. It was said at the time that the state does not have the power to intervene in the terms of these contracts, except to ensure the fulfilment of what had been explicitly agreed upon. This concept of relations between employers and employees, purely pragmatic and inspired by a thoroughgoing individualism, is severely censured in the Encyclical as contrary to the twofold nature of work as a personal and necessary reality. For if work as something personal belongs to the sphere of the individual's free use of his own abilities and energy, as something necessary, it is governed by the grave obligation of every individual to ensure the preservation of life. It necessarily follows, the Pope concludes, that every individual has a natural right to procure what is required to live, and the poor can procure that in no other way than by what they can earn through their work. A workman's wages should be sufficient to enable him to support himself, his wife, and his children. If through necessity or fear of a worse evil the workman accepts harder conditions because an employer or contractor will afford no better, he is made the victim of force and injustice. Would that these words, written at a time when what has been called unbridled capitalism was pressing forward, should not have to be repeated today with the same severity. Unfortunately, even today, one finds instances of contracts between employers and employees which lack reference to the most elementary justice regarding the employment of children or women, working hours, the hygienic condition of the workplace, and fair pay. And this is the case despite the international declarations and conventions on the subject and the internal laws of states. The Pope attributed to the public authority the strict duty of providing properly for the welfare of the workers, because a failure to do so violates justice. Indeed, he did not hesitate to speak of distributive justice. That is what Saint Pope John Paul II writes and comments in the paragraph number 8 on Centesimus Annus comments on Rerum Novarum, an encyclical which was written 100 years before by Pope Leo XIII. So today in India, the workers, they get support. They are supported by church itself. And in our dioceses, in our parishes, we can fight for the rights and the benefits for the workers. In every nook and cranny, there are multinational corporations, and they are conducting a business, and poor people are employed. And how far we discuss with the workers, and then whether they are paid just wage or they are exploited, and we need to open our eyes and inquire, and that is integral ecology, and we are working for the integral human development. That is what Centesimus Annus is talking about. That's what even the Rerum, Novarum talked about. So I think we need to open our eyes and make efforts and to work for social justice. After all, the workers are from our own parishes, our own brothers and sisters. So we need to extend love and justice and tenderness. We should show to them. Please read paragraph number 8 from Centesimus Annus, written in 1991 by Saint Pope John Paul II. Happy reading, and thank you, and God bless.